Hi everyone. Today is the cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence, and I understand this is a rather important cover. Vlad tells me it has nearly a billion. Is that right? A billion? That's such a big number. Nearly a billion views on YouTube alone. So, I guess it's rather important. Now, it's just a funny little thing. I remember one of the lines from the lyrics, "No one dared to disturb the sound of silence." And isn't it amusing that now Disturbed dares to disturb the sound of silence? We'll see whether that disturbance is worthwhile or better left alone. 50 years after its original release, a cover version of The Sound of Silence was released by American heavy metal band. Oh, okay, this is really seriously disturbing, right? Because Simon and Garfunkel are kind of pleasant, easy to listen to. Heavy metal band Disturbed on December 7, 2015. Not so very long ago. Their cover hit #1 on the Billboard Hard Rock Digital Songs and Mainstream Rock charts, and is their highest charting song on the Hot 100, peaking at number 42. It is also their highest charting single in Australia, peaking at number 4. David Draiman sings it in the key of F sharp minor. Yes, I believe we were in E flat minor in the original. His vocal span goes from F sharp 2 to A4 in scientific pitch notation. That's quite a wide range. In April 2016, Paul Simon endorsed the cover. Additionally, on April 1, Simon sent Draiman an email praising Disturbed's performance of the rendition on American talk show Conan. Simon wrote, "Really powerful performance on Conan the other day. First time I'd seen you do it live. Nice. Thanks." How special. Draiman responded, "Mr. Simon, I am honored beyond words. We only hoped to pay homage and honor to the brilliance of one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Your compliment means the world to me, us, and we are eternally grateful." What a nice exchange. As of September 2017, the single had sold over 1.5 million digital downloads and had been streamed over 54 million times. That's an estimate by Nielsen Music. As of March 2024, the music video has over 976 million views on YouTube, coming close to a billion. While the live performance on Conan has over 144 million, making it the most watched YouTube video from the show. Well, let's see how Disturbed can disturb the sound of silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping.
Okay, so I just have to say before I forget, it's probably not the biggest focal point of this version, but I was really struck by that opening scene in the music video, which looks a bit like a battlefield after the battle is over. But instead of seeing dead bodies and machinery strewn everywhere, we see musical instruments, harp, piano, guitar. And what a way to visually convey this idea. Really, really a nice opening.
Left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound.
Doesn't sound like heavy metal yet. Yet at
In
least.
restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp, I turned my collar to the cold and damp. When
I like his voice.
my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night
Strings?
and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked,
It's so interesting to me. I kind of noticed this a bit on the Simon and Garfunkel version, but I didn't say anything. But now, here as well, when he sings Within the Sound of Silence, I guess if it were me, with the rhythmic flow of the music and the words, and then we get to Within the Sound of Silence. My instinct would be to cut off silence much more quickly. Within the sound of silence. But I notice they both hold out that within the sound of silence. And I guess because I'm instinctively expecting it to cut short, it arrests my attention there. I don't know if that's on purpose or just the way the music flows, but it's my instinctive response in that moment.
and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs and voices never share. And no one dare disturb the sound of silence. For
So I am listening to their performance of it. I'm also watching the video. And I feel like this video really contributes to their expression of this song as well. And there's so many moments where I think, "Ah, wow." Like when it showed people talking without listening, and the two faces facing away from each other. And then people talking without speaking. Then people hearing without listening. And then writing songs that voices never heard. Such beautiful portrayals on the screen. And at the same time, his voice gets this intensity, as if there's a bit of outrage at this terrible scene. And then, again, it's not heavy metal yet, at least. Maybe we'll get there, because this piece does kind of grow along the way. I wouldn't be surprised if we move that direction. But right now, we have this wash of strings and orchestral backing, which just carries us along. A little bit more. There's a bit more volume than in Simon and Garfunkel's version. Well, shouldn't surprise us. They are a heavy metal band, even if they're using more traditional instruments in the moment.
of silence. Fool said I, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you.
Oh, I like what he did there.
But my
instead of da da dum da dum da da dum, and then again, take my arms that I might reach you. He goes up, take my arms that, and it brings it a bit more forcefully into this moment, and he gives this very powerful proclamation, declaration, command quality to it, especially with the power in his voice. And you hear the rage in his voice, hear the frustration.
Echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed.
Interesting. So this time, unlike Simon and Garfunkel's version, he didn't drop down and lower the volume when he's saying, and echoed in the wells of silence. He's keeping this feeling of outrage and offense in his delivery, rather like a visionary who is so disturbed. I'm going to use the word disturbed here. It's kind of fun to use it in this context. So disturbed at what he's seeing. He just can't fathom this sight.
Of silence, and the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out his warning.
Now this is more of the metal voice, isn't it? This roar, scream, growl. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but I'm just going to call it the metal voice because I hear a lot of heavy metal singers, at least maybe I shouldn't say a lot. The ones that I've heard use this voice a lot. But I'm struck by the clarity that he brings even in this style of voice. It doesn't just come out as a bunch of too much noise. It's coming out incredibly focused and right on pitch. Very clear. I can even understand, well, okay, it's true. I've been through these lyrics once before. But I can even understand what it is he's singing in this voice, and that's not always possible for me when I listen to a singer who sings in this style. There's a strange mix here in what I feel him communicating, and the more intensely metallic he goes in his voice, the more I feel like it is not just anger at the sight, it is also portraying the, shall we say, the paganism of the worshipping of this sign. There is a sort of a pagan quality to the voice, isn't there? And again, it's painting this image of the completely backwards, unacceptable, selfish, and twisted, wrong way of relating. And there is not warmth and friendliness, which, if you remember, I commented that Simon and Garfunkel's version is so embracing, but he's taken this, he's put his voice into this very hard style, kind of. It's two-pronged. It's doing two things. It's expressing the outrage of the situation. It's also expressing the hardness and the cruelty of life when you live it like this.
Down in his morning,
Wait. Hold on. Is that guitar or is that a folk harp? Suddenly we hear silence. Okay, before we get to the end, I need to back up because I noticed something here that has never stood out to me. Again, about his voice, has never stood out to me with a singer singing in this style. I heard him using vibrato in this vocal style. Just a touch. He has a nice vibrato, but he manages to carry it into... You hear it here. 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 And now all the instruments are picked up and they are... Interesting. As if the people are waiting for the ability to, for the music to come, the tools, that last scene is really amazing to me. Somehow it embodies the importance of artistic expression. That these people on the shore waiting, watching, and this vessel bringing the musicians, the instruments, the art, the means by which to break the silence, disturb the silence. And somehow it looks as if they're waiting in expectation, waiting. They need this. Of course, it also has this bit of ancient explorer quality to it too, doesn't it? So it's an interesting mix of this idea of this distance, which was expressed by Simon and Garfunkel. I guess it was Simon who said it's about the distance between people. And now, closing the gap. It is a sort of exploration, the intrepid explorer is crossing the sea to a new land, and you don't know what you're going to see. The inhabitants of the land there, seeing them come, they don't really know what's coming to them. Fortunately, this is not an invasion that is going to be damaging to the people. Fortunately, as so many of historical invasions have been. This is a beautiful invasion, isn't it? Really a nice scene, and I love the way they blended the visual with the musical in this video.
How about you watch and listen to the live version as well?
Sure, that would be nice.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone,
Nice little
narrow streets of
shift
cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stared by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more, people talking without
It is a really nice
speaking,
performance.
people hearing without listening, people writing songs and voices never shared.
I guess what I enjoy so much about his voice is how expressive it is.
Disturb the sound of silence.
Makes me curious to listen to something of their own creation. Can you imagine that?
Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words and I might teach you. Take my arms and I might reach you. But my words, like silent raindrops, fell and echoed in the wells of silence.
You hear the timpani are kind of creating this echo, which I've talked about.
To the neon god they made, and the sign lashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, whisper in the sound
Drum roll.
of silence.
Love that ending. Well, I think that really is a great cover, and it reminds me a bit of I guess it was the last Great Covers weekend I did with Dire Straits and Metallica's cover of Brothers in Arms. And I remember commenting then about how Metallica brought a different quality, a different feel to it. And I know quite a few of you really are so attached to Brothers in Arms, the original Dire Straits, that it just didn't cut it for you. But for me, I was approaching it as its own piece, and I really enjoyed it, and you can check that out if you want. But here, it's the same idea of, okay, a completely different singer, a different style, a different interpretation. There is still the same sense of sort of respect towards the integrity of the original. I commented along the way that Are they going to go full-blown heavy metal? No, they didn't. They stuck with the more acoustic sound. Although he did take his voice that direction, didn't he? And I was impressed by it. I enjoyed it. And I felt like he delivered something meaningful and valuable and valid in that voice. And if I'm weighing the two, contrasting the two, I would say that this is another example of the original being more gentle, more traditional, very folk song. Of course, Simon and Garfunkel are folk rock. Very much in the folk style. A beautiful expression which makes us pause and think about, all right, this is something important, and we need to take this seriously. And then when Disturbed takes it up, it gets a bit more of an epic feeling, doesn't it? It's not just because of the videography, the art of the movie that they put with it. It's the music as well. They've put this timpani in there in a way that's a bit more front and center than anything we heard in Simon and Garfunkel. There are more sweeping strings. There's the voice which runs the entire range of soft and gentle all the way through to this powerful, powerful delivery at the end. We feel a bit more of the reality that there is a great distance. I guess that's what I would say. The second one, this Disturbed version, gives me a feeling of the distance between people in a sort of geographic way, as an illustration of the emotional and communication distance. But he takes it towards the geographic. You know, there's this vast expanse, there's this epic journey, there's this powerful other religion, the worshipping of the sign. There's this outrage from my home country, as I see this pagan ceremony, bowing down and worshiping. You know, this idea of, it kind of takes it a little bit mythical, legendary storytelling, doesn't it? Just by the musical delivery, and puts our minds towards that idea of, oh, wow, this is a real journey, isn't it? It gets our imagination turning. So, two very different deliveries. At the same time, both of them end up communicating the same message in the end, that this is a silence that needs to be broken. And I enjoyed them both. I appreciated them both. Thank you to everyone who voted for this one. And now I'm incredibly curious to see what is the one that tied with this, because I don't even know. Vlad is the one that keeps up with the polls. So I haven't even asked him yet what's coming next, what tied with this. But it must be something good to have tied with this one. That will come next time. I'll see you soon.